I want to show the pig again.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Is it morning, afternoon, evening where you are? Thank you for joining us. We are streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. I heard Twitter's having some issues this morning, so that's always fun.
Go figure.
We're all having a little trouble waking up this morning. So thank you for joining us for another episode. Can you believe, ladies, this is episode 10 of Commit to the Genius. How did we do it this many times? And that it's 10 and a half, isn't it? Because we did a half episode. So anyways, we're very lucky and happy to be back here. And today we wanted to talk about, what it takes to be an event superhero. I feel like that's a word people have been using for a very long time. I want to show our little image again because Vivian did such a cute job on it. Look at the little piggy.
I love the pig. The pig is actually flying to that little Captain America thing on the bottom.
I love it. So yes, what do you ladies think? We're talking about superhero, which is a word I guess I've seen used in the industry for a very long time. But we've talked a lot in past episodes about the changing landscape and all the skills that planners need to be future resilient. We did an episode on that. There's so many things. And we were talking about just kind of going through maybe a list of stuff. But of course, we want to hear from anyone who's watching too. I feel free to put that in the comments wherever you're watching. We can see them. We'd like to bring them on. So if you have a question or something you want to contribute, please do so that we can keep you part of the conversation.
Yes. So I have a question for you guys. I was just thinking back to when I actually was a meeting planner and what was required of me back then. I'm wondering if you guys think that those requirements have changed, and are we in a space where planners can actually avail themselves of all the resources that they need in order to be really a good and efficient at their job?
That's a good question. I think as a planner that just like the rest of the world, it's just become so overwhelming. So your job, everyone's job, not just event planners, but I feel like everyone's job has become, you're supposed to do 10 times more than you used to do for the same salary. And you're just supposed to suck it up and make it happen. And even though there's a plethora of resources out there, you can't go online without seeing 5,000 webinars. Who has time for any of it, let alone to really digest it and think strategically about it? It's just, I wouldn't say the resources aren't there. I just think, it's overwhelming to just keep up with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
As Sean says, it's like pulling a rabbit out of the hat and the hat keeps shrinking.
Are you going to that Alice in Wonderland experience, Sean, or what?
It does feel like that.
It does. I think the other thing is, so we're only talking about skill set for the event professionals. Let's focus really on the event planners and supplanners. There's a lot of suppliers that have actually had to, no pun intended, wear the hat of a planner for obvious reasons, for them to understand the project, the scope, help strategize or be creative and be an extension of the planner team or planner person, if you will. Like we're now dealing with teams that are 1.5 people, or 1.2, it depends. So, but if we're looking at our industry, the factors around us might have maximized, such as, for example, venue capabilities. They're going a little bit to the south, you're overcompensating for that. Resources in the sense of maybe brains within the team, the resources of budget, so you can't outsource. But what we want to discuss here is what is the skill set that is needed from an event planner or supplanner to have them excel at being what we have the term that we used, I think last week, was future resilient for themselves as a professional, or for the industry. And so it has always been on everybody's list to know about tech, not to dive in, not to be a hard coder, not to be a geek or a nerd about it, but to understand. The global pause that we went through, the Corona coaster that we went through, automagically in like 2 years, all the planners actually have achieved that, right? So I think the other skill set that we need to tackle, and when I say tackle, you can't just put it on a to-do list or a post-it and then dream that you're going to get there. You're going to have to get there somehow, whether it's a webinar, a discussion with us, or whether it's a no certifications. We won't deal with that. But, or whether it's a program, or whether it's a YouTube, that channel that you're addicted to, whatever it is, it will be about content, design, delivery, marketing, strategy. Content, whether you're using it internally or whether you're using it for your events, is going to have to be on everybody's skill set list, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about technology, because I was kind of making a mental list of specific categories of technology that are must-haves for planners today. I think the obvious one is to be able to work an event management software platform that sort of takes away this, the hard labor of Excel spreadsheets and, maybe even just the tasks, no more Post-it notes. It can all be in there.
Right.
But I'm willing to bet that there's still lots of planners that are doing Excel spreadsheets and carrying around this big, like, literal binder from Staples, with all their papers in it.
I'm one of those people.
I
don't do the printing.
Tread lightly, Bruno, because Caruso is the queen of sheets and event Bibles, like the event Bible.
I know. I love technology, but I think that, I'm going to be honest, I think the event management platforms pretty much suck. And it's hard to find. I think it's because what you do, everyone has such a unique way of working. Mm-hmm. And so at least for what we've done, I've tried a ton of them, but they don't work as seamlessly. And one of the nice things about, working with Google Sheets and Slack is that those companies are evolving a lot faster than event management platforms. They're coming out with new things all the time. Same with StreamYard and some of the other tools in our arsenal. And so it's easier to kind of like make your own plan. And a lot of planners I talk to, they're still doing that.
So I will say, to defend Caruso and Sean and everybody else that are like, what? Take away Excel. Bruno, I understand your point about the technology. I understand, though, it from the sense of one skill set everybody needs is executive organization.
Yeah.
And whether it is a Post-it, I still do Post-its, whether it's Post-its or whether it's lists or Google Sheets or, whatever it is, that skill is executive organization that can be taught or shared with your team or peers or partners. If there is an event management, platform that fits that need, go for it. But the other skill set that is needed here is the ability to be agile and also to reevaluate. If the system doesn't work, if that skill set you have, that executive organization or that event management, skill doesn't work, then the skill that you also need to do or have is to reevaluate, not only from a tech perspective, from everything that you do right now, but you got to do it quick, not Titanic speed as some of the clients that we have going on at the moment, for example. There's no time for that. So I think the skill set is executive organization, no matter if you're using tech or not, being agile, being able to be curious of technologies that might, be able to fit in what you're doing. And then also the whole reevaluation and saying, maybe what I chose, it was shit and I'm not going to use it again because of these reasons.
Okay. Second kind of software has got to be marketing. especially for smaller organizations that don't have a marketing department that works with the planning department, that works with the whatever strategy department. The planner does everything. So what kind of software are we talking about? I mean, is this just email? Or do we have to learn Canva and, all the like design things? What's at the top of the list in the category of marketing for planners?
I think a lot of planners, myself included, are using Canva. They're using social media posting tools like Hootsuite and what's the one you use, Delia?
Sprout Social.
Sprout Social. I always forget the name. So they're using stuff like that. I know that, your average planner, I think, tries to dive into like Facebook ads and Google ads, and they're trying to like at least understand LinkedIn and all their events. All these platforms have those events tools. So you're trying to figure out like what's a LinkedIn event versus a Facebook event. How does that work with our system? But yeah, we use a lot of Canva. We use Photoshop for a lot of things that are not, like just not as easy in Canva, but Canva makes life dramatically easier, especially as it relates to sharing documents with the team and having templates and things. I know you guys both use Canva a lot, right?
Well, I'm not a power user.
Vivian is a power user.
I have seen it and I've been in there poking around, but I wouldn't say I have used it.
So we're talking skills, our list. Yeah. Sean loves Canva. I know there's a lot of people here. Vivian, Adobe Express is also easy to use. Yes, Adobe has made it very easy to use. But here's the thing. If we're talking professional skill sets, so marketing for sure. Bruno, I think you're spot on that. When it comes to the different technologies, having the understanding of how it works or having the understanding of how important it is one thing versus diving in and teaching yourself how to use it. Mm-hmm. I think one skill set that needs to like be in the open is how you protect your brain width. If you have a Vivian who knows how to kick ass on Canva, or Liz is a power user, I have the understandings of Canva, but I need also the understanding of how to give like a delegation or creative brief to Liz or Vivian, and then focus on what I can do. I think event profs have been dubbed superheroes from way back in the day because of them trying to do everything themselves. Right, Bruno?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we were talking about Canva and Adobe, one thing that I wish that I would have understood long before now is like the file types, the last three letters. I mean, beyond
PNG,
and like Illustrator things. And now that you have avatars, like that's a whole new file type, and PNG and, JPEG. And it's just like, oh, I just, Google is my best friend. But that should be like instruction in maybe the marketing piece too, because you're always transferring files and uploading them to different platforms and stuff like that. So I'm voting for file types in the skill set list.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of avatars, because I would love to see this today if we can, because Liz, I don't know if you've seen Bruno's avatar. So we're going to tell everybody to create their avatar on readyplayer.me and to post it and tag one of us on it because it is to die for. So it's Bruno meets Fortnite meets Roblox, and I don't know, maybe Xena as a game, but it is pretty freaking awesome. So if you want to build your avatar, readyplayer.me, and please show us, because I'm intrigued. I still have to work on mine, but I'm going to shift a bit because Martin is bringing in a very interesting question, not only about is it event planners' job to promote secure attendance at the event? Man, you'd have to get paid a lot of money if you're guaranteeing attendance for any type of event or
people ask that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's true. they are de facto responsible for getting people in the door in the smaller organizations.
Yeah.
That's always like on the list when we ask, what are your responsibilities when we're doing personas? I have to get butts in the seats and I have to stay in the budget. Top two.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, but here's a skill that not a lot of people have. I've seen Liz, I've seen you in action, I've seen Bruno in action, and I bet Sean has this as well. It is categorized under interpersonal skills. It is your own way of persuasive marketing or consulting. So as a planner, you're going to have to use that skill for a couple of reasons: getting people to attend, getting them to your events, persuasive marketing on how you present to the C-suite. I remember the days where I was helping event planner teams persuade the C-suite and the IT team to get iPads so that they can do their job on site. That was a big feat. That was a huge discussion. So, and persuasive conversation or communication or marketing, when you are setting up a business case for example, let's get rid of the annual conference and do 4 regionals. And everybody's like, what the hell did you just say right now? So the skill here is not only the marketing that you need or the tactics or the strategy for getting attendance to an event. It's really how you are communicating with your teams, whichever level. And now you've got stuck with a remote team that you've never met before. So have at it.
Well, I've got another skill to add. Please, for the love of whomever you put in that space, learn how to write a grammatically correct sentence. Everything
is Grammarly for
and stuff. No, I have Grammarly. That is not true. I am often correcting Grammarly. I'm not saying that I'm the queen of grammar or anything. I'm just saying that people just can't write.
Yeah.
Something happened in the educational process. So, man, you have to be able to articulate in order to persuade,
That's very true.
in order to give instructions to people. It's not like you're not there in person to go, okay, you there, pick up this, do that. You have to spell it out in a cohesive way. And I just don't see that as being as good as it could be across planners and mostly everybody.
Yeah.
Liz, what are you saying about that?
I mean, I definitely agree. I'm not a great writer myself, but just in terms of like the skills of, and I think too of like website marketing language, if part of your job is to get people there, it's not just the language, but also the flow of the registration page and what the tickets are called. Like that's something that planners, I think, have to learn. But even as we're saying this, I didn't think about this before we did this episode, but now that we're talking, I'm thinking like, what else do you want a planner to do? My God. not you ladies, but just the world. It's like so many things to keep your mind open to and like learning constantly all these new things. And I, as an independent planner, we work with so many different clients. So you're always learning like, okay, new client, a whole new system that they typically work with. You guys know how this is. This client uses Slack, another one uses Google Chat, so then your mind is just like constantly trying to keep up. It's a lot. So I think
how do you?
Sorry?
How do you? Do you just search on Google for like a manual for this software that your client wants you to use, or you just like try and figure it out?
I think Dahlia was talking earlier about the importance of like, understanding technology. And I have always been a big believer that if you hear the name of something you've never heard of, you need to create an account and try it and try to use it. You don't have to integrate it into your overall business plan, but you have to at least try new things. Like I always use the example of Snapchat. I hated Snapchat. I downloaded it. I played with it, but I
hated it even more.
I never became a Snapchat user, but it was in using that I started to realize that the swiping left, swiping right is going to be a lot more popular than navigation bars where you click on the top and click on the buttons. And you see that even on event websites now, that people are like, so it's important to try those things. And we end up doing that a lot. People are always telling us like, oh, you know, if one more client tells me they use Teams, I can't take it. I can't take it. So yeah, but I saw some comment from Martin earlier too that said definitely
Yes,
needs
that was
stress
my next
management
one. He's
to
on a
keep things
roll,
running.
dude.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think it goes with, I saw someone else said, you know, multitask. Joe was saying this, which I thought was really interesting on my earlier point about pressure to be and do everything, the peer pressure amplified by other people's highly curated social media profiles to be the rock star planner is also a bit unhealthy.
Yeah.
This is that whole like influencer issue, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
What's unhealthy, just quickly, is giving them all the responsibility, but almost none of the power. You know,
Yeah,
they're expected to execute. We, all of us collectively are expected to execute and not make any mistakes. And also we're not empowered a lot of times to make decisions. So it's a lot of responsibility and, you know, a lot of risk, but, you know, sometimes none of the credit and not a lot of the tools.
So I'm gonna kibosh something right now, where I don't really think we need to be superheroes anymore. I think well, I do want the cape, so just putting that out there right now. But I do think this whole rock star planner or rock star like planner supplier type of ID needs to go away. I think what needs to be revised is, what are you really good at? So instead of being a superhero that has all the superpowers and all the knowledge and all the IP, because keep in mind that's not healthy either, right? But it's almost like you have to build your Justice League type of group, you know, different colored capes, different superpowers, complement each other, learn from each other, thrive on each other's energies. The 10 minutes before the show, we were talking to each other how tired we are, you know, like, so this is life right now. It's actually been life like this for a while. And, you know, I will say, okay, maybe it was a golden opportunity. The Corona coaster came and all of a sudden, you know, people are just revisiting the why in their life. Why the hell am I doing this? Why the hell am I putting in 30,000 steps at a show where I don't even like the show, you know? So, and I love to do marketing, or I love to do tech advice, blah, blah, blah. So you're staying in your lane, but the lanes are next to each other. And you find someone who's really great at the tech. You find someone who can write and be more persuasive than your Egyptian old self kind of thing. And then you go and you find someone that loves to play with Snapchat, because guess what? No, computer says no. So but the beauty of it is there's going to be always this energy that you thrive on. And if you're thriving on someone else's excitement of Snapchat or their excitement of Google Sheets, I love that. I don't have to be in that 100%. My 100% could be in the lane so that I can push out the intel, the energy, the new ideas, etc. And so, you know, if we're talking resumes and profiles and stuff like that, it's like, who else do you play really nicely with in a sandbox? Like, I would love a resume where someone tells me I jive really well with the CTO and the CRO. Perfect. Tell me how and why. And then that way they show off their superpowers. They show off what they really have like honed down. I'd rather have someone laser focused than someone coming to me and saying, I'm Jill of all trades. No, you're not really. Or Jack, sorry. So, you know, I think that's where we need to be going as a mindset.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think there's the skills within that are, the communication. You have to be able to, if you're working with different people, you have to be able to communicate what has to be done, what the priorities are. You have to be able to work together with different systems. I do a lot of collaboration. I know you guys do too, with other planners. Working on an event next week. It's a planner who has the client. She brought us in to help with the technology. I brought in 2 other planners to help with the technology as well. So there's 4 of us working on this project, all independent planners. And another thing I would say is the flexibility, not only to always be learning, but to be working with other people's styles. This planner and she's like, okay, we got to put together the run-up show. She shows me her template that she's been using for X number of years. I show her mine. We're like, let's pull this, let's pull that, let's take this out. And now we have a new version that we're doing together that we probably will both use moving forward. And that's the flexibility. I know planners, myself very much included, are like control freaks. You want everything to be the way you want it to be. I know it's hard to believe that I'm a control freak.
Shocker.
Yeah. But that flexibility, I think, is an important point, and more so in terms of like how you work with other people than flexibility in taking on all kinds of new roles that you may not be very good at, just to prove that you can somehow get the job.
Yeah. I think Sean needs to be a lifeline on our, like he's on fire as well. So Sean, we're going to ping you so that you are one of our lifelines coming up soon, dude. You're like on fire. Either that, or I would like to know what's in your coffee. But collaboration is key, sharpens you as a professional. Know thy strengths and farm the weaknesses. Boom. I love that. I'm going to quote you on that one. But one thing that Martin also stated is the whole stress management. And I think right now, any leaders or any team members, you don't even have to be a lead or a leader in an organization or in a team. Even if you're like part-time, is how do you help with the managing of the stress? How do you tap into the empathy, the compassion, just even checking in on team members kind of thing. And, Bruno, you were talking about leadership before the show as well. And I think we've all, in a sense, have turned into leaders of some kind. Not necessarily the level of whatever title they give you, but with the leadership is truly the empathy and the compassion that you bring to the other team members, as well as the project itself. Everybody's going through shit right now. Even your exhibitors and attendees, like going through Montreal airport. I tell you, half of the Lions that went to Montreal, they were like distraught by the time they hit the show floor. You're going to have to figure out a skill set that works for them, but also protects you, that you're not sucking up all the, I don't know what the word is, but I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
Bad juju.
Okay, there you go. See, that's the Egyptian going over to the word slayer, and there you go. So, but it's gonna be a key skill. It's gonna be a key skill that's gonna be needed for everyone in an organization or team or otherwise. Do you guys agree?
I hear a lot of people talking about stress management in the events industry, and it's like we need to take more time for ourselves. We have to take vacations. I just took one last week. You have to, but I think what you were talking about earlier, Dahlia, about staying in, like defining and then staying in your lane, is the single best way to manage your stress and to find the right partners. And to your point, sometimes finding more partners than you necessarily need, because there have been plenty of times where I'm working on a project, and even if I committed to doing it, I am suddenly like mentally not able to finish that project. I need to have someone else who can jump in order to give your team members that little space to breathe, and the empathy and compassion that you're talking about. You have to have enough people on your team that you can take something from someone and push it to someone else and not be late. We still have to deliver for our clients, but that collaboration, I think we've been doing that a lot more in the past few years. And my revenue the last 2 years has been higher than it has ever been, which I know is not always the case in this industry. But my stress levels have actually been lower. Still tired, still stressed out, but much better because the team, we're all working together and we pass things back and forth a lot. I'm like, can't take it right now. Someone else has to take it, and vice versa. I take it from other people a lot. So that collaboration, I think, is really important.
Totally.
So key skill is the ability to let go.
Yeah.
That's hard. So hard.
It's hard for us. It's hard for event profs in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did you guys hear that? Well, Bruno knows this. I'm trying to make my escape and live in Portugal. Just FYI. Ooh. But and
me too.
I know. Imagine that.
Where are you going?
It was either that or Puerto Rico, right, Bruno? So but the I don't know if anybody saw this. There is a law now where bosses can't send emails after 6 p.m. or on weekends.
That's not only Portugal. I've heard that in other countries. Yeah.
So I think that I know we're on time here. I think the biggest skill that everybody needs is to say no and set boundaries. And let
even
it
if
go.
they're after hours.
Says the woman. No, I'm not going to even say that.
Says the woman. ...
Yeah, that has 13 calls a day booked regularly on her calendar. That's normal for her.
But wait a minute. A lot of these calls are me checking in on my people. FYI. So, hey.
Yes, but it's still a call. It's still, sucking out your...
I have to see them. I have to see them.
But that's Dahlia's personality too. You like to chat it up. If I had 3 meetings on my calendar, I would die.
I stick to my lane, as Bruno and Carolyn tell me all the time. Jill, you are more than welcome to come to Portugal, honey. And that we can arrange. And then LinkedIn user, missed most of my today's, but I will say that we have to draw our own boundaries and demonstrate that we are respecting them for our employees as well. We have to learn to say no. Bingo. Is this Jen Artura? Because I think it might be. Actually.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
The issue with the LinkedIn users, if it comes up like this when you post, it's because your privacy settings on your LinkedIn profile are not fully open. I figured that out finally.
So we need another LinkedIn.
It's
Jen. And Jen, you and I are supposed to have coffee real soon in Cambridge. Oh, Lindsay. All right. It's me. All right. So I hope, I think we got a kick-ass list from here, like more on the personal side and more on the professional side. So I think
there's a million lists out there.
The what?
There's a million lists on.
Oh yeah, there is a million lists. I will challenge everybody to take at least 3 new skills and really hone in on them, and then redo your, LinkedIn. Don't make it seem like you're a superpower user. Redo your resume if need to. If you need help, ping me. Would love to help you out. And please, if you can go to our page, so it's dahliaplus.com/ cue the genius. I was going to say cut the shit, but I know. And just tell us what other topics you want, because we're actually putting topics together for the next 4+ shows. So this is your turn to be on this wonderful, wonderful screen with us, Sean or Jen.
And you guys, and just, the James Webb Telescope, we've discovered now new galaxies, and I've heard that they do time differently. So we may get more time to learn all this stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, if you guys want more time for these discussions, we want to be there, so that you just need to make sure your coffee doesn't run out. But we're more than happy to stay on longer if you want us to. But I think we're good.
Not today. Michelle has to go.
No, Michelle does have to go and juggle. But it was great chatting as always, and let us know what more we can chat about. Have a wonderful, wonderful week and weekend.
Bye,
everyone. Bye.